and myself, we're all in there grinding on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, trying to move ahead. These next few days will be, so tomorrow will be a Wednesday, and then Thursday, Friday for our schedule. So Friday will actually be a Saturday for us, and we'll be able to spend a little bit of time, kind of push the schedule back and let the guys spend some time with their families and, on Christmas morning. So it kind of works out to be a good schedule for us this week. And then I'm sure, as you all know, earlier today, we relieved Braden of his duties here as the special teams coordinator. And, it was a decision that was made as an organization and something that we thought was best for the team. So we're moving in that direction. So with that, open it up for questions.
Go ahead, Mike.
Yeah. Hey, Bev, obviously on the decision to fire Braden, if you can walk us through why. Was this an accumulation of something? Was this one thing related to yesterday? Why do this, and why do this now with 2 games left in the year?
Yeah, Mike, as I started this job here 5 weeks ago, or whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, I talked in terms of, for me it was a 5-game audition, and for each and every one of us, it was an opportunity to show our best selves, show who we are, play together as a team. Everybody had an opportunity to be evaluated. Like I said, whether you're being evaluated here, whether you're being evaluated for somewhere else, and so it's part of the evaluation. And obviously, the decision yesterday that was made in the game, was not a correct decision. And so I thought long and hard about it last night, and I ended up talking to Rod and told Rod what my thoughts were. And then Rod and the rest of the leadership group made a decision, and then helped me in that decision.
Was, like you said, the decision yesterday wasn't the right one. Was that not communicated to you at all? And has this been something that obviously you're only in this role for a few weeks, but was this something that was going on even when Matt was still the head coach? Or explain that a little bit.
The last part of the question, Mike, I can't answer what was going on when with the communication with when Coach Patricia was here. I can answer the communication that we have. There's clear lines of communication. There's basic protocols that we use each and every game. So going into a game, we'll have had meetings to determine our parameters on things that that we would like to do in the game, whether it be offense, whether it be defense, whether it be special teams. We communicate in terms of the parameters, and then those parameters may change during the game because of situations. So, for example, as we're going through a drive, as we were in that drive there in the fourth quarter, there's 12 minutes 34 seconds to go in the game. We're down 2 scores. Matthew had just been hit on second down on the little fumbled snap. He had just been hit on third down on the next play. So just assessing the whole situation, the communication that we have, it can change each and every drive. We're communicating, whether we're in minus territory, whether we're in positive territory, and always trying to stay on top of situational ball. So yes, there's a decision to be made there. The decision for me was, I have to assess everything. I'm assessing that the quarterback is, not in a good way. And so also with the score and where we were, we had 3 timeouts left plus the 2-minute warning, and Jack is punting really well. I thought it'd be best to flip the field and keep us in the game there, down 2 scores. We get the ball back. You saw how the offense was going with a really good chance. If I'm going to go for it there, I'm going to leave the offense out, and I'm going to trust Matthew with the ball. And, that didn't happen in the situation. And there's some things that could be different, I would be standing in a different spot, could have made really good decisions in that, and not knowing what was going on, led to bad things happening.
So just to be clear, did you tell him to punt, and then he decided on his own to go with the fake? Is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Bev. I appreciate it.
Yep.
John?
Yeah, Bev, I got a couple questions about Braden. What in your deliberation, was there ever consideration for a less severe punishment just based on his work with the special teams and the success that he did have his first year here in Detroit?
Yeah, it was to be honest with you, John, it was it was an agonizing decision. It's something that was really hard for me. I thought it'd be really important to think on it a lot. I really thought about it, basically all night long. I ended up, getting hold of Rod and talking it through with Rod. And, there are some things that you can do, and I feel like you can come back from. And then I think there's some decisions that, that you don't make those decisions, and, there's got to be repercussions because, there's a lot of people that are making similar decisions or, in different ways. And so, again, I'm just trying to do what's best for this team and put this team in the best situation to be able to win.
And then I guess what everyone would be wondering is, what was his explanation when you discussed with him that decision that he made? Was it aggressiveness or something that spur of the moment, or what was his reasoning for a decision like that?
Yeah, to be honest with you, John, I would like to just keep the communication that we had, private. I hope the best for Braden, but it just was a decision that I felt I needed to make.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Chris Burke.
Hey, Darrell. I guess just a couple points of clarification from me. Obviously, a lot of focus on that call yesterday and on that play. Were there other things that had happened in the 2 weeks before that, since you've taken over as head coach, that had you moving in that direction before that, or was this just focused on the one specific moment?
Yeah, Chris, I think I'm just gonna leave it at that moment, and not really get into all the behind the things stuff. I don't want it to turn into this this big thing. I just it was a decision that I thought was best for the team, and we're going to continue to move forward.
And then just on the kind of chain of command, I guess you mentioned talking to Rod, and then Rod talked with the leadership group. Who actually made the final call there, and then who was responsible, if you can share, for telling Braden?
Well, yeah, I think for me, just like I said, as with the interim tag, I totally understand my situation, and I understand that I have 5 weeks to be able to do this for now, and I've been given the authority to to manage the coaching staff, and to work with those guys. And so first it was my decision to start, but obviously it's one that I cannot make by myself. I do have a boss as well. So I took it to Rod, and then I waited to hear from him what they thought was best. And so I would say clearly it was an organizational decision, not one that I made on my own, but I did have input in the decision.
Dave.
Hey, Bev. Excuse me. Appreciate the candidness about some of this. Just to be clear, one other sort of thing, I guess, on the chain of communication or whatever it is in game, that is, the parameters that you guys have, was the fake punt yesterday within some of those parameters before? I mean, could there have been any confusion? Was that accounted for at all? That maybe there was, I don't know, that was planned ahead of time and it didn't get communicated clearly to punt there? Yeah,
it's a good question, Dave. I do think it's really important to to talk about that without giving the specific parameters away, right? So yes, there's a lot of communication on each and every drive. I mean, it takes a lot to manage the game situationally, and every single drive we might start the drive and say, hey, as soon as we have the ball, as I'm a play caller on for the offense, but then as well trying to manage those situations. We might say at the beginning, hey, we score here, this is a 2-point drive. Or we might say, hey, we're starting here, we get to here, it's 4-down territory if it's, this distance or shorter, or this distance or shorter when we move to here. So there's communications that is given to me through our talks during the week and the parameters as we're moving along in the game. But there is also very clear communication to when we're doing things, so that there is not a miscommunication there. Specific words, where it's not caught up in the conversation, if you know what I mean. Like, hey, are we doing this? We're not doing that. Obviously, we have, I know you guys have been to practice. We've had fakes up, for at least the time that I've been doing this. That we thought would have a chance to be successful. Sometimes the parameters come up during the game. Sometimes they don't. There's opportunities to, obviously I want to be aggressive. I've gone for it on 4th down. We've done those things. So want to make those decisions and make them soundly. But also hopefully I'm answering this clearly, but the communication has to be clear as well, so that there's not on the headphones when things are getting chaotic in those moments, that there can be a miscommunication. So there's clear protocols there's clear communication and words to make sure that that happens.
And then again, just since none of us have ever been on a headset in a game, that's something where you are talking with Braden during that, as the special teams is getting ready to go out there, as the punt unit is going out there, you're saying, hey, this is a punt situation here, essentially.
Yes, it's either kind of leading up to it, so they're, it's kind of hard to explain a little bit, but during the drive, obviously, like I like it quiet on the headset when I'm calling the play, but as soon as the play's called, there might be hey, fourth down this drive, if we get it to fourth and this, we're going to do this, that kind of communication. So that may be on second down. It did happen probably like at least three times during the game where we were in a third down situation where we were within the parameters that I would need to make a decision. Obviously I'm watching the play and I'm like, okay, I have a great play here. And we ended up getting the first down. So the parameters at that point became moot. So we didn't have to do it. But in that situation, clearly as I explained what the situation was at that moment with timeouts, time of the game, score, Matthew's situation. It was a situation for me to punt, and that didn't happen.
I appreciate that. And then the last thing I have is just, I don't know, why was it important for you just as the leader of this team to make this decision now, I guess, you know what I mean? Like something that some people may look at, there's 2 weeks left, let this thing play out, just let it be. But just for you as a leader to, exercise that decision making ability, I guess, that you have in conjunction with others.
Right.
Why was that important?
Yeah. I do think it's important as a leader, as hard as the decisions can be. I think it's important, that I have a philosophy and I have a belief and things that I'm trying to instill in the team, instill in the coaching staff, and instill in the program. And, when things happen that are outside of it, then, there needs to be something that happens. If something doesn't happen, then really you lose, you lose some credibility. I always feel it's important. I tell our coaches all the time, we need to do what we say. I always feel it's important. I tell our coaches all the time, we need to do what we say we're going to do. Because if we tell these guys something, we need to be able to come through. Now, sometimes game plan situation can change. Obviously, we're saying, hey, here's the game plan, and they understand some of the parameters that can change within a game. But if we're going to say, hey, we're doing this, then I feel like it's important that I come through with that. And and sometimes when it goes the other way, there's moments that you can really help yourself or hurt yourself. And I thought this was really an important moment.
And then I lied one last thing, just because I don't know, are you guys off today? Were you able to communicate this with players? Because some players, obviously on social media, have they've been surprised by the move.
Correct. I haven't been able to speak to every member of the team. I have spoken with some of the members, and and talk to them. But I will get there. The Players' Day is off today, but I'll get a chance to speak to them tomorrow in the team meeting.
Their reaction, the ones that you've told about this or you've talked to about this?
Well, I will leave those, between me and them, but I let them speak. But then I also told them, basically what I will tell the team tomorrow, and and we went from there.
All right, thank you, Darrell.
All right, Carlos, last one.
Hey, Darrell, you said you talked to Rod about this, and it was kind of gone through the leadership group. Do you know if that involved directly or indirectly Chris Spielman's input?
I cannot comment on that. I don't know that.
Okay. And you said there was you're in this position, you're kind of in an evaluation period since you took over. Is it safe to say that there may have been a culture fit problem with Braden in your time in that position?
Yeah, I just really want to stick to what we're talking about here, and I don't want to get into that. I don't want to use those words from me, and we just move on from here.
And just the last thing, I mean, is it safe to say this was not an isolated incident, just one thing?
Again, I don't really want to continue to to dwell on it any more than I have to. It was a decision that I've made that I think was important for the team.
All right. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, everybody. Hang on the line here. We'll have Corey next.
Okay. Thank you.